Hi there. Welcome back to the Renewal Project YouTube channel. It has been a little while since I've posted anything here. There's been lots of other activity going on and other projects, but I wanted to share this with you. So, I just saw somebody posted on social media that it was a post where somebody had asked one of the AIs, Chat GPT or one of them, what they would do if they wanted to break down the family unit. And it was eye-opening. I thought, wow, the tactics were pretty good. So I got thinking, and I decided that I was going to ask Chat GPT what its best advice or best tactics would be to keep people in bondage. And you know what? It delivered. So I have my phone here. I'm going to read some of what it said or share some of what it said. And I thought it was really good. And I thought it's good for us to be aware. Obviously, it's a computer. It is not a human, right? But it has been equipped with reasoning of sorts and lots of research. So, all right, so here it said, if the goal were to keep people from ever healing emotionally, I'd avoid obvious attacks. I'd use subtle, believable strategies that feel wise, spiritual, or even responsible. Okay, so listen. So here's the tactics I'd choose. Keep them busy enough that they never become quiet. And boy, what do we see around us? We see that all the time, right? There's so much busyness. And I know I've commented, when people are like, how are you doing? I say it too. I'm like, busy but good, and usually the majority of the people say something about being busy. So that's a great tactic. If people are constantly consuming content, working, scrolling, serving, or entertaining themselves, they never hear what's actually happening inside their own hearts. They're not actually really listening, right? Because silence is dangerous because that's often where truth surfaces. So that's the first thing. And then it said, which I thought was good too, convince them that pain is weakness. Teach them to just get over it. Reward them for appearing strong. And make vulnerability feel embarrassing. Wow, right? Especially what stood out to me was that reward them for appearing strong. We always applaud people for feeling strong, don't we? And then it says eventually they'll mistake suppression for healing. Keep them blaming everyone else. Some people truly were deeply wounded, but if they never move beyond this happened to me, they'll never ask, what does freedom look like now, right? Because that becomes their identity. Victimhood becomes an identity instead of a season. And then it says, or do the opposite and convince them that everything is their fault. Healthy conviction leads to repentance. When the Lord convicts us, He doesn't just say, wow, you really screwed up. Sorry. He gives us a way out. He empowers us to make the necessary changes, as opposed to condemnation, which just makes you feel bad, right? Let's see. It says, false guilt leads to shame, and shame keeps people hiding. So true. So true. And then the next one is fill their minds with noise instead of truth. Every day they're hearing thousands of messages. You aren't enough. You have to prove yourself. You're behind. If they loved you, ... right? And if those lies go unchallenged long enough, they start sounding like their own thoughts, right? And then the next one is make them afraid to ask for help. Tell them you'll burden people. They'll think less of you. Good Christians shouldn't struggle. You should be able to fix yourself. Lies. Lies. Isolation is incredibly effective, and I know that has been a tactic that the enemy has used in my life many times over to just cause me to want to isolate myself and pull away from people when I actually really needed godly people around me. Just make sure, let's see. Keep them spiritually active without heart transformation. Have them attend church, volunteer, serve, read all the books, right? Just make sure they never allow God access to the places that still hurt. External activity can become a very convincing substitute for internal surrender. Ouch, right? And the next is convince them that understanding equals healing. People can explain every wound from childhood. They can name their trauma, quote every psychology book, know every Bible verse. Insight's valuable, but insight alone doesn't transform a heart. And I actually run into this a lot because I do work with, I would say the majority of people that I work with are believers. You know, a lot of them have spent their lives in church, and man, they know they have all the answers. And not only have they read the Bible, then they've read all the Christian self-help books, right? And so they know all the answers. But you know, if you just know it here and it never like really gets down here, no transformation is happening. It's just knowledge, right? And then it says keep old labels attached. Make them introduce themselves internally as, I'm the rejected one, I'm the abandoned one, I'm divorced, I'm anxious, I'm the addict, I'm the abused child. And the longer the wound becomes the identity, then the harder freedom feels. Haven't we all done that? You know, these labels that we put on ourselves? And sometimes we kind of do it as joking, you know, but what's underlying that? Oh, let's see. And then keep unforgiveness feeling justified forever. Hurt people often have legitimate reasons to stay angry, but bitterness quietly chains the injured person to the one who wounded them. I've seen it. I've seen it many times. I've seen it in my family. Next one is make them believe healing should be instant. If it doesn't have to happen after one prayer, one conference, one church service, one counseling session, tell them it doesn't work. Discouragement causes many people to quit just before their breakthrough. And the next one, distract them with symptoms instead of roots. Help them manage the anxiety, manage the anger, manage the fear, manage people pleasing. Just don't let them ask, where did this begin? And then surround them with people who normalize dysfunction. If everyone around them says, that's just who you are, everyone has baggage, you'll never change, they'll stop expecting transformation. And make comparison their daily habit. So dangerous. Nothing keeps people stuck quite like believing everyone else has it together. Comparison produces either pride or discouragement, and neither produces healing. And then the last one, keep them believing God is disappointed in them. This may be the most effective tactic of all. If they believe God merely tolerates them instead of lovingly inviting them toward wholeness, they'll hide from the very one who heals. From a biblical perspective, that's the pattern you see repeatedly from the beginning. Hiding instead of drawing near, right? In the Garden of Eden. I thought that was so good. It was good. It's a lot of the things that we talk about and we teach. But I thought, looking at it from the opposite perspective, we always talk about, how to get free, and the problem with that is a lot of people think that they are free. I mean, that's not a problem, but the problem is there are a lot of people that think that they are free because it's been their life for so long. And so it has been normalized, that anxiety or that fear or that desire to isolate or that comparison. They've done it for so long that it just feels like that's who they are, and they don't even know to question it. So I thought that was really good. Thank you, Chat GPT, for sharing sharing that. And honestly, like if I would have sat down to write something like that, I would have put very similar things, because it's things that I see frequently as I work with people. So I don't know if any of that meant anything to you, or if there's anything in what you heard that you can relate to, but I just want to encourage you to spend time with the Lord. Ask Him where those lies are, those things that you've been believing, if you're feeling stuck, and He will reveal them to you. And if you need help in the process, I would be so honored to help you. We can meet locally if you are local to me, or we can always meet on Zoom. But Jesus paid for your freedom on the cross and with His resurrection, and He desires for you to be free, and I do too. All right, that's it for now.